Folks, welcome to an all new episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Wednesday episode. The Humpty Dance is a chance to do the hump. You have made it to Hump Day, folks. That's right. It is Wednesday. You are officially halfway through the week. We are so close to Friday. Oh my goodness, I can smell it from here. But we've got an entirely new episode for you today. We're going to be doing a lot of Bravo pop culture stories here at top. And then we have our first guest from Peacock's Love Island USA. I am so excited to be with Hannah Smith today, who unfortunately just got voted off or just got the boot from the island. But she was fantastic. And you're going to see hear a couple of other Love Island USA contestants come on the show. So I hope you are starting to tune in. I'm telling you, to me, this has turned into appointment television, and it's hard to explain for people that are not watching it, but you really get caught up in it. There's something about a daily show, and maybe there's something about this daily podcast that keeps you coming back. Do not email me and say definitely not your podcast. But anyways, Love Island USA, Love Island franchise in general, there is something magical in it where you get caught up, and it's inane. It can be mind numbing. It can be brainless, but it can also be one of the funniest shows on TV. It is full of drama. It is full of at times romance. I mean, you actually buy into the concept at a certain point, but it's always great to talk to the contestants of Love Island to kind of see what behind the scenes is going on, because you got to think about these people that sign up for reality TV. It's kind of different with like a Bravo reality show, that you're multi seasons on a show. Whereas the lady that we're talking to today, I believe she's from like North Carolina, and all of a sudden you're in Fiji, and then all of a sudden you're out of the island, and 24 hours later you're back in your hometown getting ice cream with your mom. It is so wild. Your head must be just doing all sorts of flip-flops, because you're going from this intense environment where you're away from all social media, you're away from any contact with the outside world, which actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, that sounds pretty nice, but you're just there to focus on potentially finding love. And I don't know, you got to watch the show. You can really see they buy into the premise of the show, and therefore we buy into the premise of the show. Okay, so we talked to her in a bit, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll break this up. So this is the pop culture segment, but just know that there's an interview with Hannah if you watch Love Island USA. And also, you guys listening, remember there's timestamps. So if you want to skip ahead to the Love Island USA section, go for it. Listen to this show however you want to listen to it. But thank you for being here. We've got some important news stories to cover, though, before we get to our guest, because it has been a big day in Bravo news. We had like 3 or 4 Bravo stories. Bam, 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 bam. Kenya Moore not coming back to Atlanta. Decision has been made. Danielle from Summer House has made a decision not to come back to Summer House. Kelly Ben-Simone canceled her wedding. She was supposed to get married this weekend. She has canceled that wedding now. I mean, it just so much is going on in the Bravo sphere. So buckle up. Let's take you through these stories and get you on your way. Okay, so Danielle Oliveira, she posted this on Instagram today. And here, she has a very long caption here on the Instagram post. It says, "Hello, my sweet loves. I wanted to share that I've come to the heartbreaking decision to not return as a full-time cast member on the upcoming season of Summer House. Obviously, this decision didn't come without a tremendous amount of thought. Ultimately, I just need to trust my gut. If I can't put 100% of myself into filming genuinely and authentically, it really doesn't feel right doing it in a full-time capacity. The network, production, my cast, and especially all of you deserve that. Right now, I need to protect and prioritize the things that matter most to me: my company, my people, and of course, myself. I'm so grateful that my NBCU, Bravo, and truly original family understand this and have supported whatever decision I chose to reach. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a step back season 4 as well, and it ended up working out better than I imagined. However, I'm involved this summer, you can bet I'll be rooting for another incredible season from my Summer House fam. My goodness, season 9, you guys. Best of luck, and sending you so much love, Danny girl." And what do we think, guys? So she, of course, has her app right now, the Dawn app, Donne. So that app, I know, it got covered a little bit on this season of Summer House for the launch party. So she is saying she wants to throw herself fully into that. There's a couple of questions I have about this statement, though. It says, however, I'm involved this summer, you can bet I'll be rooting for another incredible season. So, what does that mean? Does that mean she might come on for just little guest spots? Is this a complete break? I was a little confused in some of the wording of this. But I'm all listen, but I will say for those people that I was reading comments of like, oh, good. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry. If you don't like Danielle, that's fine. But if you don't like somebody, sometimes they are just as valid of a cast member as somebody that you love. Reality shows work, and basically any kind of dramatic structure works with somebody that you like and somebody that you don't. It's essential. As much as we like to see those feel good moments where everybody's hugging and everybody's getting together and having fun, we also need to see drama. That's what this whole thing is based on. So I'm so curious what this means. And also, a lot of people were speculating, Bravo in the past sometimes have told people, or the production companies have told cast members that they're not renewing their contract, but they will give them, kind of the first dibs on posting a public statement about it. And kind of making it seem like it was their decision. Now, I'm really hoping that this was Danielle's decision and not the production companies, because I think, like I said, Danielle is an essential part of Summer House. But it brings up further questions. You got to really think about this, because what does this mean for Lindsay Hubbard? Now, Lindsay Hubbard, Danielle was always in her corner, except obviously for season 7, where they had that fallout, but they were back in season 8, and Danielle stood by Lindsay with all of the Carl thing. And I'm really curious what this means for Lindsay, because I kind of feel like, I know I'm not supposed to speculate about this, but I really feel like we're potentially going to get a pregnancy announcement. And I'm wondering, gosh, you guys, I'm worried because my feeling, and if you've been listening, I feel like Summer House had the best season that it's had in years. And if they had kept the entire cast, season 9 was going to be explosive. I thought you had all of the elements there, and Danielle for me is one of those elements. I think you need her. You truly did. She kind of got into it with Paige a little bit. There was a little ruffling with Gabby. There, I mean, she has that relationship with Carl from the beginning. These are all necessary elements, and I feel like it's one of those like, ooh, kind of want her there. I can't, not kind of, I want her there. So I'm a little curious what this came down to, where she stands, what is the real reason. And by the way, the real reason just might be I need to put myself fully into this app and into my business. And this other Bravo stuff is kind of taking time away from that. And like she said, she did this before in what, like season 4, and it turned out fine. So who knows? Maybe this is like a Summer House family that you can leave and come back and leave and come back. I certainly hope so. But you have well, listen, the one person that I thought Bravo might be on the fence with was Gabby, but Gabby really, really stuck by Lindsay, so much so that I felt like by the end it kind of really rooted her in something. Unfortunately, it wasn't her own personal story, but it was being a Danielle like character. So I thought, wow, now with Danielle saying she's not there, then you need Gabby if Lindsay's coming back. But if Lindsay doesn't come back, if she's about to make an announcement saying, listen, I'm so happy to announce that I am pregnant and that I will not, unfortunately, be able to join this season of Summer House, God, it would kill. I say it would literally kill me. It would literally. I would die. I would. Here lies Shannon Bedore. I would die. But listen, I think. I mean, I was just reading a book about Seinfeld, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the amazing actor, she went through 2 pregnancies while working on Seinfeld. So there is. I love that that's the example I use. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So there's Lindsay Hubbard can fully be pregnant and fully do Summer House. She's just got to make sure she gets only mildly activated and not fully activated. And that's going to be hard with Carl Radke right there after this explosive season. This is the shit that's going to keep me up at night, folks. But what do you guys think? But just really try to hear what I'm saying though about Danielle. These characters are essential. And you don't ever want the other side because lines seem to be clearly drawn, even though everybody, all the ladies seem to kind of get together at the end and hug each other. At the reunion, we saw Paige kind of saying, "Listen, Danielle, I know who you are. It is noted," because Danielle, it did come out, finally admitted that she is the one that confirmed to Dumois that Craig Conover got thrown out of Amanda and Kyle's wedding. But just even doing that just shows the necessity of Danielle on these shows, that she is making moves like that. And now she just leaves? Danielle, rest in peace from Summer House. I am going to miss you. And what scares me is just what this means for the future. What else, they have to start filming you guys in, oh my God, in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, cameras have to be back up for the 4th of July weekend, right? That's usually when they start. Folks, we need to figure this out immediately. So that's how the day started, right? So we're like, okay, big Bravo news. Hopefully, that's the only Bravo news we will get on this Tuesday. Folks, that is not the only Bravo news we got on this Tuesday. Okay, so the big news then got released later in the day that it is official. TMZ reported first that Kenya Moore is out from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, there was a lot of questions about this. Now, this was all, they're filming season 16 right now. And remember, Portia is coming back. And so you had Portia, Kenya, you had a new cast member, Brittany Eady. And this all blew up because allegedly, or I guess allegedly, I think we can say it's not even alleged anymore, is that they're saying Kenya unveiled sexually explicit posters of newcomer Brittany Eady seemingly performing oral sex. What too, And we're told Kenya has not been fired from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Instead, we're told both sides, this is from the TMZ article, have agreed that she's just going to take a break from the show for now. Our sources say Bravo is keeping the door open for a future return. However, we're also told Kenya is considering legal options at this point because she's not happy with how this whole mess unfolded. Now, this was the first piece of news that came out from TMZ. And then it kind of changed a little bit. Now, Bryce Sander, one of my favorite reporters from Entertainment Tonight, I think he's excellent. So he started reporting on this and he said, yes, the Kenya exit is real and it was her choice. It's unclear how, if at all, this will be addressed on Real Housewives of Atlanta when season 16 airs. They could just edit her out or around this. And as for reports, the door is open for a future return. I've been told that's not necessarily true. So Bryce, who really does have an inside track and inside knowledge, is saying that this is not necessarily true, that it is open for her to return. They are saying potentially that Sheree might be welcomed back. Dr. She by Sheree Whitfield, she could possibly return. And that kind of is huge news right there. And there was another name bandied, is that Phaedra might possibly return. I bet they're scrambling right now because they had already done a lot of filming with these newbies and intermixing Kenya and Portia. And remember, Candy took a step back, so she is not on this season. So Phaedra potentially could, even though she is still pulling double duty then with Married to Medicine, but she's coming off hot from the Traitors season 2. So would you want to see Phaedra back in the mix? Now somebody asked Bryce Sanders, what happened? We just saw a physical altercation on New Jersey. This whole thing seems overblown in regards to the situation that Kenya is being accused of. And Bryce responded, Danielle and Jen from Jersey were both suspended after that incident, which, by the way, we saw this past Sunday, you guys, and only cleared to return after an investigation. Same as Kenya's case. She opted out. So he's saying Kenya opted out. It all comes down to, quote, code of conduct clauses in their contracts, which are under a microscope in the current climate of lawsuits. So this is where reality reckoning also comes into play, is that everybody is extremely litigious right now. And even Kenya in these reports saying that she is weighing options in regards to a legal action potentially. So this is interesting. Also, Kenya Moore on Twitter, 5:10 p.m. today, wrote hashtag Team Twirl Forever. You are the best fans anyone could ever ask for, and I love you all so very much, always and forever. And then she put a purple heart. Now, Kenya, I mean, she is a it's a very interesting example because Kenya, from the onset of when she came on to Real Housewives of Atlanta, is I think she's extremely talented. She's an important housewife, but she's also a housewife that was a wrecking ball. She came in at all times stirring up trouble. I mean, that is real. And she did it very effectively for so many seasons. So finally, some of that caught up to her. But I mean, it just kind of bums you out because you would hope that there was a way to actually have this dealt with. But they're also saying that Kenya did not want to wait for this investigation. And, Bravo is in a position right now, thanks to Bethany Frankel and a lot of these lawsuits, that they really have to look at their code of conduct and make sure that this is a safe, healthy environment. And when I mean healthy, it means like you can still have fights, but everything's got to be kind of a little bit more by the book, I would imagine. And as these shows continue, I read this fact today, you guys, this upcoming Real Housewives of Orange County season will mark the 100th season of a Housewives shows. There'll be 100 seasons as of this season, Real Housewives of Orange County. 100 seasons of Housewives shows out there. How many seasons of 100 have you seen, including all the housewives? I thought that was a really interesting fact. By the way, I hope that's true. I hope somebody just didn't make that up for dorks like me to be like, hey, fun fact. Hey, here's a little dad fact for you. So I will miss Kenya Moore. I will miss her on this season of Atlanta. I'm sad that it had to end this way. And I'm really curious what this was all about and if we will ever hear the full story, because obviously we will not see it at this point. So in a way, that is a complete tragedy. And on to another tragedy. I mean, this is just a full of bad news, is that I mentioned Kelly Ben-Simone, of course, from Real Housewives of New York fame. And also my favorite Kelly Ben-Simone is just all the pictures of her just running around the streets of Manhattan, just running. It's like when you're in Los Angeles, you would always see, I'll see like Jay Leno driving a classic car in Burbank in all denim. I've seen that probably 30 times since I've lived in Los Angeles, but I felt like that potentially was like how Kelly Ben-Simone were to people that lived in the city. You would just see Kelly Ben-Simone just running in traffic because I just saw so many pictures of her running in traffic. Well, sad news for Kelly is that she called off her wedding to Scott Littner just 4 days before the ceremony. This is from Page Six. The former Real Housewives of New York City star confirmed the shocking split. Quote, I have decided that my two daughters are my priority and I won't be moving forward with this wedding, she said in a statement. She asked for privacy. Ben-Simone called it quits with the twice divorced father of three on Tuesday afternoon, the same day we hear she was set to pick up her 3 wedding dresses from Kleinfeld's. 3 wedding dresses, folks. The former couple were set to say I do in Boston in Littner's mother's backyard in front of friends and family on Saturday of this week. This was like good. This was set in the mother's backyard. Ben-Simone, 56, just went on a mini bachelorette trip with her 2 daughters, C26 and Teddy 24, at Sandals Duns River in Jamaica. The bubbly socialite and Littner got engaged last year during a 4th of July vacation to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, near where she grew up. Along with the backyard Boston ceremony, the pair had planned to have a second blowout in the Hamptons. Would Jill Zarin get an invite? Quote, when I first met him, I didn't even say anything. I was speechless, which is not like me. I always have something to say, she previously told People, but he blew me away. He's just a really special human. And then they posted photos of her trying on these wedding dresses. So our hearts go out to Kelly Bensimone. Bethany Frankel, I'm begging you, please do not publicly comment on this. Please do not say go to sleep. Just please stay out of this. Eat your cottage cheese and talk about Chanel, but please leave Kelly Bensimone alone, please. So that 3 huge Bravo news stories today. Damn. I don't know why I don't know why I'm actually sad. I choke. Sorry. I'm actually sad about that. Okay. And then I want to remind people today, the 3rd season of the hit FX show, The Bear with Jeremy Allen White premieres. Now they're releasing all 10 episodes of season 3, and I believe it's going to air 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on FX. So you will be able to stream all 10 episodes if you have Hulu. And if you have FX, I'm not sure what that schedule is, but all 10 episodes will be on Hulu tomorrow. The 2nd season of The Bear was fantastic. I'm so curious because they were coming off of the writers and actors strike and they immediately went into production. So I'm so curious if it's able to keep up with that same quality. They've all, Ao, Debris, Jeremy Allen White. I mean, that whole cast has blown up. Jeremy Allen White, by the way, you know what he's doing on his break? He's playing a young Bruce Springsteen. They're doing a movie, I think, based off Bruce Springsteen making the seminal album Nebraska back in the day. I think it was in the 70s. And Jeremy Allen White is playing a young Bruce Springsteen, which I am like completely here for. And all ladies and all men are completely thirsting over Jeremy Allen White because remember, I think it was last summer he had his Calvin Klein underwear photo shoot that came out. So we'll see if Chef will get everybody hot and bothered for season 3. So reminder to TiVo that's on your TiVo. A couple more things before we get to our guest today. I had a really busy, fantastic day. I started off on Jeff Lewis Live Extended with Sarah Colonna. That was a lot of fun, and it's crazy. Yeah, no, it's good to get out there and do stuff. So I did that, and then I came back and I did the Love Island interview. And then after that, guys, I talked about this yesterday's show. I was invited to that 90s show, which is, the kind of spin-off or sequel to that 70s show. That's on Netflix now. And the next batch of episodes comes out this Thursday. And I got to watch a bunch of episodes. It's really funny. It's really cute. Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp, who played the parents in that 70s show, still play. Now they're the grandparents in that 90s show. But it's all these like really great young actors, and it's like, a multicam sitcom. And I used to watch that 70s show all the time. My dad even loves that 70s show. But I was able to do the kind of like they had this premiere party, but it was really cool. It was at this place called Button Mash in Echo Park, and they set up the entire thing in like 90s memorabilia. So I was like a pig in shit. I was so happy. There was like old Bop magazine. Remember Bop magazine when you were like a teen, mainly girls like got Bop magazine. But I also, I grew up on a street with all girls. So I would like, read their Bop magazines, but they had the old classic ones with Timberlake and Britney. And like when Freddie Prinze Jr. was like considered a heartthrob. They had that. They had all these like this photo thing where all these like old TVs playing that 70s show. And I got to have all these interviews with all of the kids from that 90s show. And it was really nice. I got to tell you, I came from an acting background and I got to work at an acting studio for like 13 years of my life before I was able to luckily start doing this. And it's been a long time since I've been around actors. And I think by the time I finished at that acting studio, I was really tired of actors because it's just such a, it's a people don't realize how tough of a road it is to be an actor or to try to be an actor. They kind of see like glitz and glamour and they think that it's something that it's not. And they don't realize how much hard work, how much suffering, how much the door is always slammed in your face, that you hear no 99% of the time. and most people don't even get to hear yes 1%. It is a really thankless job trying to be an actor, and you've got to work so damn hard. And I think over 13 years working around actors, it was just a lot because, you know, I'm not an empath, I don't think, but you would just pick up on so many different energies. I've talked about this before. It was just, you people would come in the door and there would be so many energies. It would be sadness, like, what am I doing with my life? Or it would be complete like braggadocious, where it'd be like, I'm the shit, like way too cocky. Or it would be way too energetic because they wanted to be the focus of attention. Or it would be completely oblivious where they hadn't put in the work and they were just hoping that you would tell them how to do it. And then there was extremely beautiful but vapid people, or extremely beautiful but too beautiful, where they felt like they weren't being taken seriously. I mean, there were so many different types of actors, but you also saw the ones that succeeded, how much work went into it and how they really took it serious. And I always admired the people that really took it serious, really worked hard, but didn't take themselves too serious. Were, still had a good sense of humor, didn't lose themselves in all of the work that they put into it. And talking to all these kids tonight, it kind of made me miss it in a sense. Getting to talk to them and how nice. I mean, first off, these kids couldn't have been nicer. I mean, they're on a Netflix hit show. They couldn't have been so nice. And I was, we were playing fun 90s games. Like, I was doing 90s trivia, like name all the Spice Girls, name your favorite Alanis Morissette song, all of these things. And they just couldn't have been nicer. And it's just like each person, you could tell why they were cast. Each person, they had like a certain energy where you're like, oh my God, of course you're perfect for this part. And they were so smart and so witty. And I usually love to badmouth things, you guys. I am a glass half empty kind of guy. I like to think very negatively about things. I like to think very negatively about myself. It is something that I'm very comfortable in doing. So it's a great pleasure to say, man, these kids are all right. These kids were really funny. Really, I can't wait to share some of these interviews with you and some of the video from them. I think I'm going to put it up all on my Instagram. But it was just great. And then Kurtwood Smith, the dad from that 70s show, now the granddad in that 90s show, he was there. This man is a legend. I mean, do you guys remember that movie RoboCop back in the 80s? He was the villain in RoboCop, but also he did so amazing in that 70s show and still does great in that 90s show. His comedic timing is just, it's like a precision laser. It is so good. And then there's a lot of guest stars this season on that 90s show. So the Carmen Electra was there tonight. And if you want to talk about 90s icons, Carmen Electra is right up there. And just even in who she dated Prince, you guys. Remember, she was married to Dave Navarro and they had that MTV reality show. It was like Till Death Do Us Part, I think it was called. I watched every episode of that back in the day. Why can't we have those episodes still? Isn't that crazy? I watched, she dated and married Dennis Rodman. I mean, it was wild. I mean, at one point, probably the sexiest person of the 90s, or at least 1 year of the 90s. I mean, she was there. That was wild. Chong was there from Cheech and Chong. Tommy Chong, 84 years old. The man looked better than I did. Like, the man seems healthier than I am. This goes to show you, I probably should smoke weed every day of my life, because I was like, there's no way this man is 84 years old. There is no way. He was there. And then, this is how my brain, I said this, like, one of the gifts I got, if this is a gift, ever since I was a kid, I could tell you, I could spot a celebrity like easy. Like, I'm very gifted at spotting a celebrity, but I'm also gifted at spotting studio executives. And I got to see finally Ted Sarandos. And if Ted Sarandos' name doesn't ring a bell, let me tell you, he is the head of Netflix. This man is the head of the world's biggest streaming service. And I read so many movie magazines and Variety and Hollywood Reporter. I saw this. I was with like Netflix executives that were like hooking me up with these interviews. We were talking. I was like, and I literally said, holy shit, isn't that the president of your company? And they were like, oh my God, Ted's here. And this guy just looked like $1 million. And he had like a driver outside. just waiting for him. Like, you know, he's popping in, popping out. I'm sure he goes to like 30 Netflix events a day. But I was like, damn. You know, I was excited to see all these actors, excited to see Carmen Electra, excited to be there. But I think I was most excited to see Ted Sarandos, to see this guy that is responsible for all of these things that we see on TV, on Netflix. I mean, that is true power. This guy makes decisions. This guy is able to greenlight these obsessions of ours. Love is Blind. That's him. Buying Beverly Hills. He has to say yes to that. Love on the Spectrum. He has to say yes to that. That is power. And so I was in awe of that this whole evening, but I was really in awe of that. But I got to tell you, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I am so. And the funny thing was, I woke up today and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this tonight. I don't want to do this tonight," because I get really nervous. I have a lot of agita about these things. I really go over into my head, and I always like, "Oh, this could go wrong. This could go wrong." And then I do these things, and afterwards, I'm so happy I did them, and I realize how damn lucky I am. And a lot of that's because of you guys, because you listen to this show or watch this show. I get these opportunities because of you. But I mean, I really have to say it's important to have dreams, and it's important to be specific about your dreams. Where I'm finding that out in my old age is that I always wanted, you know, I thought I wanted to be an actor. And by the way, if you are casting something, I'm still willing to act in any of your projects. But then I realized from a young age, I wanted to be a host. You know, I was the kid that hosted the school talent show. And I remember being just as nervous back then as I am now. Like it's never changed, but I wanted to do that. Wanted to do that. I like hosted everything. In high school, I read the school announcements every morning. I was that nerd. I hosted the school assemblies. I was that nerd. And I don't know where, somewhere along the line, I just thought, well, that's not a real job. And I wish I could go back to my 20s and really just try to like figure out what does that look like? What does a host do? How do you become a host? But it's so awesome that, you know, sometimes life still finds a way, you know, accidentally sometimes. When I started this podcast, I didn't think, oh, this is my chance to be a host. It's just I wanted to talk about reality shows and pop culture and movies and music. And then it's given me other opportunities where you're like, wow, it's kind of leading me in this direction of things that I've always wanted to do. I just never knew the verbiage in which to say it. So, anyways, I wanted to thank you guys for that and just know that I'm supporting you in your dreams. Thank you for supporting me and mine. And let's get on with the day. Love Island USA, like I said, just truly, truly in a very addictive watch. You can stream all 14 episodes right now on Peacock. And I also want to give a special shout out to a great Instagram account. And she is also addicted to Love Island. Her name is Danielle Peterson. Her account is Danny Gossip Gal, DaniGossipgal. And she does these great graphics and stuff like that. But I knew she was a Love Island fan. So I reached out to her and said, hey, I'm going to be interviewing Hannah today. Do you have anything? And she gave me a list of things that I actually brought up most of them in the interview. So Danny, you killed it for me. Thank you, Danielle. And go check out her Instagram account. She is great. And without further ado, let's go to Fiji. Let's go and meet one of the islanders. Her name is Hannah Smith. And let's find out a little bit more about Hannah. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you on Thursday.